It's time for the October 2025 Ave Maria Market Update. This channel focuses on everything to do with living in Southwest Florida. If you're thinking about buying or selling or just have real estate questions, call or text me at 239-450-5786. And if you'd like to schedule a free, no obligation informational Zoom call with me, click the link below. It's hard to believe that 2025 is already 3/4 of the way done. We're starting to see the cooler temperatures of the fall and winter months approaching with our beautiful sunshine-filled warm daytimes and cooler nights. Car carriers are starting to show up, which some may argue is not a good sign. But the reality is that we are seeing life in the Southwest Florida real estate market. And as we take a look at the Ave Maria update, we're going to do something a little different this month, and we're going to do some comparison of pre-COVID to today. And as we take a look at the Ave Maria market data for September 2025, just a reminder, I'm giving you the raw data and I'm giving you my opinion. My goal is entirely to help you make the right decision of whether now is the right time to buy or sell your home in Ave Maria. So let's begin. Now, as a quick reminder, as I do every single month, I'm giving you the raw information, unfiltered, as you can see on the screen. If I filter a number, I'll let you know. But the goal here again is to provide you with the most information so that you have the opportunity to make your own decisions, because that's what it is. It's a personal decision of whether now's the right time to buy or sell. Not a realtor's decision, not your aunt or uncle's, or even your parents or grandparents. It's your personal decision of whether now is the right time for you and your family. So let's begin. And like I said in the intro, this month update, I'm going to do something a little bit different. We're going to take a look at Ave Maria September 2025 versus September of 2019, which happens to be my first full month in real estate. So I thought it would be fun to take a look at how it has changed and whether the scope of the prices are crashing, the market is crashing, is correct for Ave Maria. So we're going to begin by taking a look at the pricing sales history for September 2025, and then we'll take a look at the inventory story. Let's begin. So we'll start with pending sales. So we saw 24 homes go under contract in September of 2025. Now, compare that to 2019, where we saw only 12 homes go under contract. Now, year over year, 2024 to 2025, that's a 60% increase, which shows the great response that the Ave Maria is having to the market improvements that we're seeing. But you can see here that almost exactly double in sales from 2025 to where we were in 2019. So that puts it in a little perspective, how much growth has happened in Ave Maria. Sales in 2025, 22, that's up 29.4% year over year. Compared to 2019, only 11. We see here the total sales, and again, remember, this is just MLS data. That doesn't count all of the new construction sales that never reached the MLS. But you can see we had a huge spike in sales, and continued really, and has continued through current. It's just, we are in a very much different market than we were in 2019. Days on market median right now in Ave Maria for September was 101. That's up 55% over 2024. But year 2019 versus 2025, 2019 was 121 days on the market. 101 days doesn't sound too bad compared to where we were in a, quote, normal market. Days on the market average 105. Again, still up, way up over 2024. But again, we have a whole lot more inventory, and 2025's buyer activity certainly hasn't improved versus 2024, and certainly not over 23 and 22 and 21. So, we're not in a great market, but we're improving, and it's exciting to see market activity. Closed median price, 399,259. That's down 24.7% versus 2019, where the median price was 272,909. That is still considerable growth when you consider where we were just a few short years ago. I mean, that's not a ton of time, but you can see what happened here. This is pre-COVID. We hit COVID, pricing dropped a little bit, activity dropped, and then we shot up. This is where the interest rates went to, the twos and the low threes, right? And the market activity, everybody escaping the big cities. Ave Maria was a big target. During that time, we saw really, I mean, I don't have this statistic to give you, but in my opinion, the town almost doubled in, like 2 or 3 years. So, huge growth, not sustainable, meaning it's not going to continue, but also pricing had to come down a little bit. So the individuals that bought homes here in this time frame, it could be a very good time for you to consider selling if you're thinking about selling. But if you bought a home here in 22, parts of 21, and certainly 23 and 24, I'd recommend you hold on for a little while for the market to respond and stabilize and start to inch back up pricing wise. We always know that real estate is a safe investment, but it's a safe investment over a 5 to 6 to 10 year period of time. If you buy high and then try to sell high, you're going to lose in that situation. So the people that are struggling right now are the ones that are trying to sell their home when they bought it in the post-COVID years. Here we again look, just talking about that. 2021, our median in September was 357,000, but then our median in September of 2022 was 480,000. So yes, we're down from that, and that wasn't even the peak. Actually, the peak was here in 24. But again, some of that's being driven by new construction. New construction actually was being put on the MLS because they needed to find buyers, so they were marketing out so that it would hit Zillow's and all of our agent websites. But again, we see here we're not far off of where we were, and we certainly are much higher than we were pre-COVID. Close price average 416,000. Again, it's down from 2024, but it's not horrifically down from the growth that we've seen. So again, if you bought pre-COVID, possibly it's a good time to sell if you need to. If you bought after COVID, let's have a conversation, because it may not be the best time for you to sell unless there's an absolute reason, like you're being transferred or you just can't, there's just a reason you can't stay in Ave Maria. Let's have a conversation. Okay, so we looked at pricing and sales activity. Now let's look at the inventory story of Ave Maria 2025 September. New listings, we saw 42 hit the market. That's up 2.4%. No big surprise here. It's kind of the stable number that we're seeing. As you can see here, way up over 2019, 18. But again, we're not at those peak levels that we saw, kind of dangerous high level inventory of the beginning of this year. But as we approach season, I think we're going to see the typical spike. Every year, we see a spike at January through April of inventory because of sellers trying to target the seasonal buyers. Homes for sale, we had 197 total. That's up 8.8% versus 89 in 2019. Months of supply inventory, we're at 8.6 months of inventory for September 2025. That's down 10% over 2024. But what's interesting is it's actually down over 2019. 2019, we had 9.2 months worth of inventory to sell. And remember, inventory or months of supply is if there's no homes that came on the market for the buyer activity or the average buyer activity trends, we would have, in case of September 2025, 8.6 months worth of homes to sell before we had nothing else to sell. Of course, we know that that we are going to see homes hit the market, but the reality is that we are solid buyer's market in Ave Maria. There's no arguing about it. We were in 2019. The only time we've seen a seller's market in Ave Maria really is when interest rates depleted the inventory because we had a mad rush on sales and there wasn't enough homes in Ave Maria to keep up with the interest and the flow of buyers. So really, inventory is the story for Ave Maria. We saw price increase because of low inventory. Builders couldn't build fast enough, and the sellers that were selling couldn't sell fast enough or couldn't get their homes to the market fast enough for the demand, and pricing just shot through the roof. So again, 8.6 is not a horrible market. It's not a great market for sellers, but it's not a horrible market for sellers. But the reality is we are solidly in a buyer's market in Ave Maria. So if you're thinking about selling your home, again, as I mentioned earlier, you bought pre-COVID, you have a good deal of equity, and I think, if you need to sell, it's a great time. If you bought it after COVID, if you're not in that window of pre-COVID, let's have a conversation and talk about how we get your home sold, because you need to get it sold. And that is where my selling system comes in, the Sell It Stress-Free system. Visit my website, give me a call, shoot me a text, and let's talk about how we get your home sold. And if you're not in a rush, let's talk about how we prepare your home and put you on a market watch, to see when the right perfect time is for you to hit the market. And of course, as always, if you are thinking about buying a home here in Ave Maria or really anywhere else in Southwest Florida, call or text me 239-450-5786. Click the link below to schedule a no obligation information Zoom, and let's have a conversation about whether Ave Maria, Naples, Golden Gate Estates, Fort Myers, Cape Coral, or anywhere in between is right for you and your family. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell to be notified about all future videos. Thanks for watching.